I always say, like Andrew Tate, like even if you don't like him, like some 20-year-olds need like a guy like that to shock them a bit. Probably like, I don't know, you were in like the army, like there's probably like some degree of that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I think when it comes to that world, I just think men lack guidance, and so anybody that tells them to take accountability for their life or to take responsibility to make the change, that they have the powers, like it's a very appealing message. At the end of the day, like most of us want to hear that.
Yeah, of course.
You're a powerless young man, you don't make money, like you want to hear like I can fucking do this and I'm the boss if I do, right? So it's completely understandable. I don't have a problem with that message per se. I think it becomes in the finer details that it comes a little bit goofy to me.
Well, they start packaging it, right?
Yeah,
they start adding. They
stuff.
go like, well, this can't be my main message.
Yeah,
it's too bare bones. And they start adding on all this other stuff, right?
Or it's like, yeah, man, just keep going. You're gonna have multiple wives one day. It's like, no, you're not. You're not gonna have multiple wives.
To me, that's a perfect example of like young person advice, because
you're gonna have multiple ex-wives.
Yeah. You're gonna have multiple women just sitting around like a harem. I'm like, bro, this is a pipe dream. That's not happening.
That's a nightmare. I would not even want that.
Yeah, but when I was like 25, you think you do, and then because you're like, I don't want to do it like that, and then finally realize probably that like most people just kind of have a wife.
Yeah,
and I guess their idea is like, well, that was wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why they're Muslim now, because they heard that like that comes with the starter pack.
Right.
Yeah, 3 wives, and they're traditional, and they're all down with like orgies and stuff.
Yeah, that's
very traditional.
So this is some of the stuff I don't mind, the self-improvement stuff, because I don't even think we even talk about that. It's more so the finer details where they start talking about other stuff. And you're like that sounds goofy.
Yeah. It also
like it's why we don't cover Jordan Peterson. Like if Jordan Peterson saying stuff like clean your room, like no one's gonna be like, what a fucking loser. Like no, we don't care. It makes sense, right?
I mean, it is funny though that there is a corner of like Twitter and they're going like, look at this idiot telling people to clean their rooms, and then
it was like spicy, just to tell you to get your life together a little bit.
Yeah, I think people just didn't understand why that advice was so popular, but I think people don't understand that like a lot of young dudes don't know what to do with their lives. So there's a place for it, and I don't think that we have an issue with that. So no, I'm cool with that.
What do you think is the biggest thing that they, the young guys would have to do better? Like together, life together. Like what is the best?
I think you guys could speak to this, but I think just taking responsibility for stuff, and then like, I think taking on responsibilities is a big one. Like when you start paying rent, when you start working a job, when you start taking care of stuff, when you start up your own stand-up, or you're writing weekly for stand-up comedy and you're going to shows, like once you start assuming those responsibilities, you come a little bit more comfortable with yourself over time. Yeah. And so this is what it comes down to. I think they got to understand they have to go through that struggle of like taking on responsibilities, not just fun. It's not about going to Cabo because you made a bunch of crypto money and fucking a bunch of whores. Like that's the fun for a weekend, but that's not the stuff that makes you feel comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's probably one of the things that even like in every job where it's like it's like taking the one thing and making it way bigger. Like, every dude to some degree, or at least most, probably does need to some degree figure out how to get chicks. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And to deal with women and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Have like a confidence and a version of yourself that knows how to, all that sort of stuff, talk to a woman. But then it's like once you've kind of figured that out, it's like, it's like you're not going to just think about that forever. You're kind of like, hey, now improve the next part. You know what I mean?
I wonder though, because I know so many dudes now who like their first girl is their last girl. Like this, it seems like it's so much more common than I remember it being.
And
like, a lot of the people I know,
a lot of my friends from back home, like I have many friends like that who are.
But don't you think some of those guys probably have like more problems? They might have been better if they actually kind of.
I wonder because the guys who are like out there, I feel like they're the ones who look like the most dysfunctional to me.
Yeah,
I think my life was very dysfunctional with women. Like, was I good at talking to chicks again? Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't mean I had the best relationships all the time. And I'm pretty sure you can speak to that too. Like, you probably had some fucked up relationships too.
Yeah. You know what? But I would say that probably a good way to describe the difference is you just say like, what are you optimizing for? And at that time I wasn't I was always doing good at something. Yeah. It's just, that was a mess, but that was so like, I didn't care about winning at that game at that time.
Think about the dudes who are like the best with women. Like most of them have like dysfunctional family lives, dysfunctional relationships or marriages.
It's the worst game to play because the prize is you just keep playing.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
It's a pinball machine that like you never run out of cards.
I don't think that translates to like relationship skills. Like I really don't think it does that well. And so the things that make you good at like getting girls is not the things that make you good at like having a functional. You can keep the girl if you know how to do it, but doesn't mean it makes it a good relationship.
But it also doesn't benefit you in another way because if you're in college and you're the guy that gets girls, that benefits everything. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's socially it benefits you. You know, maybe if you can bring hot chicks, you can probably get into every place you like, whatever it is. But if you take away I think as you get older, the other benefits. Now you're just a guy meeting up with a different chick every night. Like there's no benefit to being like 40 years old and just having a different chick every night, other than you just have to actually like the act of the kill.
Yeah.
And there's no other part attached to it.
And then you just get caught up in that whole thing.
Yeah.
Thinking you're going to be like Dan Bilzerian one day, but
he's getting married too.
Is he?
Yeah, he got married. He got married like a couple weeks back. He's done with it. Like you can't maintain it.
He's clocked out. That must have been a sad day for a lot of dudes.
Hey,
who were
man.
just watching it.
He got a hot wife. He good. He's like, I'm done with this shit. It's like, it makes sense because like, you can only do it for so long before like the high is just dead.
Yeah.
And then the energy, the time you put in, you just want to be alone after you're busted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want to see this girl again. And he's like, ugh. I know the time you spent wasting. Like, I remember one time I had this whole week, I just spent like time talking to so many girls. I'm like, bro, this was the most unproductive week of my fucking life. Sure. There's never been a time where I've like slept with a lot of women and thought like, wow. This was time well spent. I've never thought that was time like well spent. Sure. Ever. And if you guys different, never for me. Doesn't matter how hot the girl was.
I would say it's time well spent if like I was there with my buddy and there was 2 girls. Do you know what I mean? I don't even mean
is that the memory of having your friend there?
Yeah, I was hanging out with my buddy.
Okay,
just so I have fun social time.
Well, because if you're creating like hanging out with one girl, that's only you. That's only your memory.
Okay, I can see that.
So it's like at that point, if it's like you and your buddies are hanging out with some chicks,
sure,
that's like a bonding thing with your boys.
Sure, I could see that.
To me, a lot.
Yeah,
of
I know
things
you
is
mean that with the just crazy on chicks for you don't feel like you accomplished it.
No.
Dude, I remember having periods where like you're just like, all right, this has to stop.
It was like a job. I was like, I have this
you're your own secretary.
Yeah, I'm like, I have this part-time job where I'm just dealing with getting chicks and you're talking and it's just like, yeah, it stinks.
Yeah, it's a headache to think about. And like, I don't know, you do this podcast or you do this work stuff, you go on tour, you do this, you feel like much more rewarded by doing that stuff than you do with this stuff. I'm like, I'm just wasting a lot of my time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard because it's addictive. So that's why I was saying, when I look at those dudes who got those relationships early, like part of me is thinking, like, seems more stable, seems more functional towards having a long-term career. You know what I mean? And as you get older in life, like having that support system behind you, it seems a lot better than whatever I got, which is just like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm lucky, like no STDs, no fucking kids, no nothing. So like I'm fortunate. A lot of dudes didn't get that luck.
That wasn't free, that life stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they had to pay a price to do all that. Yeah. So like not only does it not benefit you long-term, but it's like the risks are pretty high. Because I know some dudes who have kids with people they wish they didn't have kids with.
Some girls on tour.
Woo! Dude, that's a doozy.
I have a friend like that he had a kid with this chick and he's like ruined my life, basically. Like he's
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, straight up. He's just like, I knocked up this girl and he's in his 30s, so you get like to that whole thing where you're like, well, women in 30s don't really have abortions, like they have kids, like it's just like what you do. And he's like, I don't really like her that much, but she's like, I'm having the kid, so like I guess I'll go along with this. And then 2 years later they're like estranged and fucking he's like hates her guts and they hate each other and lives 4 hours away and like just nightmare.
Brutal.
Nightmare.
That's fucking brutal. So
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, which life path would you choose? I don't know, part of me probably was like, I probably choose the other one.
There is because
I guess there is some degree, sorry to cut you off, but I'm doing both though. Like I guess if you get to the end and you'd be like, I was able to do both.
It's so easy to say, because that's the thing. It's very easy to say that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of
grass is greener.
Yeah, grass is always greener.
Grass is always greener, but it's easier to not worry about your neighbor's lawn if you've spent a lot of time there and you're actually kind of over going there.
True. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Because you know what? The grass is greener, but if you've actually spent enough time in the other place, you understand all the bad parts too. So that's why you kind of figured out for yourself. Like it only seems good. But you're right. They both have negative things. That's why when you're just doing that, probably a relationship looks better. And then you're like, well, there's hard parts of all of it. Yeah. When you're just in a relationship and you've never been that guy, I think that it's a lot greener. Yeah. Whereas you're like, that gets a lot as well.
Yeah. I think it's harder for dudes once they go through this lifestyle to do the other one, though. That's the main thing.
That is the other cost.
Yeah, because I think once you're talking to girls, a girl comes talk to you, like, you know what I mean? It's automatic. You just fucking send a couple messages and then you just go on from there. It's like, damn, this is like, you're moving so quickly and so it's hard to turn that off. And even when you get in a relationship, there's still people in your peripherals. You're like, I could definitely talk to her. I could do this. You know what I mean? Like, it never turns off, like that automatic feel to it, and so
I know
it becomes
older
harder
guys.
to walk away from that life.
Yeah, I know all guys that are like 55 that they're just like still the exact same as at 30. Never even like made a dent.
That's slightly pathetic. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
That's like I don't want to be that dude.
No. They're like married guys that are just like, yeah, it's still like would want, like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not
A
the.
lot of them do. They go to fucking Panama. They got their little girlfriend there. Like, yeah.
Oh, really? That's the system? You know guys that have that?
Yeah, they go to these like work trip, and then they have their second girls or whatever the fuck it is, or they have like different hookers that they get with. That's super normal.
Yeah.
If you go to Panama, you'll actually see like a lot of these women are girlfriends, but it's just like the guys come in for the weekend.
I've heard people actually talk about that one. Yeah. So they basically, you essentially pay them to be your girlfriend for a week.
Yeah. Oh, how do you think escorts make money? It's not from single guys.
Right. They make, but they make one pop. So I don't know if all escorts are in that, like the week-long girlfriend game, probably.
Some of them, but
That's
a lot of
the
them,
dream for them,
They don't
probably.
have like, they won't do like exclusive thing, but they'll do like, oh, this is the guy I'm with for 1 week. I'm his girlfriend for this week. And they'll have like a few clients. They
Yeah.
prefer that life because it's stable. They know how generous he is. They don't want to cycle through a bunch of people. So if you're doing like high-end escorting or sugar baby stuff, you're trying to have consistency. You're not trying to have a new dude. Who are these guys? They're not single generally. They're married. They have understanding. So it's like it's hard to walk away from that kind of lifestyle.
That it's probably like increasingly harder sell that all your trips to Panama though.
Yeah.
You have to legitimately have like a shell corporation that you're operating there.
It's like, remember that boat that got stuck in the canal? I've been working on.
Oh yeah,
still stuck.
Oh yeah, just the Amazon package came in Panama. I gotta let the guy in. We're gonna be gone this weekend.
I mean, a lot of people will travel for work. It's very normal for like people's like, oh yeah,
Oh, you know what? COVID probably fucked that up for so many guys.
Absolutely.
Who they're like, what? I got to see my escort over Zoom now.
Yeah. I want a fucker personality.
Sucks.
Yeah, no, that shit would have fucked a lot of
Yeah,
people.
like a lot of like wives are like, honey, it's so great now because of COVID. You don't have to go on the road anymore. He's like, yeah, it's awesome.